So what do we make of all of it? And our big question of the day, how nervous are you now that the Celtics have dropped a game and they've largely been non-competitive for the last 5 quarters against Dallas?
So I said I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous yet. I think a lot about this team back in 2022 with that Draymond Green quote that he had after game 1 when he said basically the role players were good for 15 of 23 and that the Warriors were going to be, quote, fine. And like, narrator, they were fine. They won that year. I want to flip that around. And looking at game 4, trying to project it towards game 5. Now, you rattled off some pretty alarming stats from various quarters over these last game plus. But I'm looking at this going, do I think Jaylen Brown is going to shoot 25% from the field again tonight overall? I don't. Do I think Derek White is going to do that as well? I don't. Do I think Al Horford is going to be kept to just 3 points the entire night? Do I think Drew Holiday is going to have 5 turnovers again in one game when the previous 3 games against the Mavs he accounted for 0 total? I think that you saw the Mavericks playing on their home floor, their role players being able to do what role players do, which is perform well on their home floor, and the same for Kyrie Irving. And I think that was a team operating out of desperation that you can't manufacture if you're on the other side up 3-0, and when they come back to Boston tonight, they're going to be fine.
Arkan, you nervous yet?
There's things that I'm nervous about. Am I nervous they're going to lose the series yet? No, I'm not. And so that's my answer is no, I'm not quite nervous about that yet. I think that if the one thing that makes me a little nervous is what you opened with, Jones, and that is that it wasn't just the last game. It was the last game and the fourth quarter from game 3 where they've looked overmatched, really, by Dallas, which is not something I was expecting to see at all. And they were completely outclassed in that last game. They also looked like they didn't want to be out there. If they, like, partied too much in Dallas or if they just thought they could roll the ball out and that they'd win based on pure talent and wouldn't have to worry about running their offense. The offense looking stagnant for those 5 quarters is what I'm most nervous about because it seems like there was plenty of opportunities to kind of break out of that and try and solve what Dallas was doing and figure out how to attack it and not take contested shots and really look as discombobulated as Mego was just detailing they did throughout that entire game. I mean, that game was a disaster. So if it was just a close loss, if they had just, lost on a buzzer beater because Luka tore their heart out at the end or something, I don't think we'd be talking about it like this. I don't think anybody'd be nervous at all. But it's about, 75-25. Quarter of the fans are nervous. I'm not shocked. One more game, and I definitely will be, but I'm not right now.
Okay, I am. And we can get into why here in a moment. But the Celtics finished 35% in that game. That's the lowest team field goal percentage in NBA Finals history, which I think means Celtics team. I'm not sure if that's all teams. It's got to be Celtics. That can't be every Finals ever. Dallas also held them to their lowest scoring total of the year, 84 points. They got crushed on the glass, 52-31, out-rebounded on the offensive glass, 13-4, which led to a 16-2 second chance advantage. So Dallas took it to them in a lot of different areas. They stepped up defensively with their effort level. They crushed the Celtics on the glass. And what scares me is that it started at the end of Game 3. This isn't out of nowhere. This wasn't one game. It wasn't the Celtics decided not to show up. I'm starting to wonder if the Mavericks figured something out late in Game 3. And so I'm not predicting the Mavs win the series. I'm not telling you the Celtics are screwed. But if you're asking me, am I a little nervous? Yeah, because it goes back beyond just last game. And I'm nervous about something Jason Kidd said, because he agrees with you, Arkan. This is Kidd after the game when asked what was different about Game 4.
You said before the game somebody was either going to make a stand or somebody was going to let go of the rope. Was there something you saw early that suggested that your guys had a stand in them tonight?
Yeah, to score. It's real simple. We don't have to complicate this. This isn't, surgery. Our group was ready to go. They were ready to celebrate and understand we made a stand. We were desperate, and we got to continue to keep playing that way. Understand they're trying to find to close the door. The hardest thing in this league is to close the door when you have a group that has nothing to lose. And so tonight you saw that, and they let go of the rope, pretty early.
They quit. I mean, does anybody disagree they quit?
I find that impressive that Jason Kidd was able to cram so many corny-ass sayings in that between he couldn't even handle the brain surgery. He said it's not general surgery out there. And we let go of the rope. And what was the other one that I missed? He had one more.
I don't know.
He had
But that sounds like the daughter of a doctor who would get offended by
Yeah, there were a lot of analogies, but, is he wrong? They quit. right?
Celtics?
Yes.
Yes, of course they did.
Here's
Yes.
the difference. I don't
Come
think
on.
I don't think you can quit when you don't even show up.
Okay, fair. But they quit.
Like it's
They
not
quit
like
and
they
shoot
came
around or
out-
something like that.
Yeah, I think that they rolled the ball out essentially.
I mean, what he said is they were ready to celebrate. They weren't
Yeah.
ready to play a basketball game. They
But
were
it's
ready to
like,
celebrate. And
I
you
don't
could
think
see.
they quit. They never showed up.
Okay,
there was no effort.
Arkan, I know you saw this video because this is where I saw it. You retweeted it before the game. Yeah, looking back on it, I wasn't nervous when it happened, but looking back on it, did Tatum and Brown look a little too loose walking into the gym?
They looked
like yucking it up, laughing. I've never seen the two of them come to the game at the
so
same time together.
stupid.
Why is that
That's
stupid?
So stupid.
Mego,
because
that's how.
no matter how
that's how they
walk
played.
in, why did they walk in individually? Why did he walk in this way? Why did he walk in not smiling?
They never
why did
walk
they
in
walk
together.
in
Do we,
together smiling?
do we ever see them walking in like that? Exactly. That's the point. I've never seen
I
a
liked
video
it.
like
I
that.
liked
for the
how
two
they
of them.
walked in
because
together.
they walked in together and they were in a good mood, they lost the game.
No, but did it look like they were locked in and ready to go on the court? No. And in retrospect, sitting there
From
joking
jump
around,
ball, they looked
yucking
like
it
they
up,
just expected to win.
they look like two guys who were ready to celebrate and not ready to play a basketball game. I agree with that. And so I think Kid's right. You can not like his analogies. We can all hate him. He's annoying. He's a bad guy. So I'm not taking any of that back. But on this topic, I think he's right.
Yeah, and I retweeted that video because I liked that video. Before the game, I thought, hey, cool, they're walking in together. Maybe this is, the beginning of something great. They're going to win this game tonight. We're going to be celebrating later on. And then the worst game I've ever seen maybe the two of them play together is what happened instead. And it happened in the NBA Finals, which, listen, I mean, it's not the first time that a team that was up 3-0 or had a big lead in the series took their foot off the gas and the desperate team came out firing and ended up winning the game. But again, it was not a game. Like, it wasn't really, It wasn't competitive from the very beginning. And there were times where I thought, okay, like, they were down 12, in the first quarter, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe Porzingis is going to come in now, and he's going to change the game. And no, he just sort of stayed on the bench, and you never saw him. And that was when the game was still sort of in reach. But then by halftime, it just wasn't in reach anymore, and there wasn't any point in doing anything like that. And yeah, so it definitely made me look at that video a little differently for sure.